Alright, welcome back to The Endless Drawing, Episode 5. Got new orders from Central Command. I gotta get out of the garage, go to the Zen garden. So let's get out of here. Had an idea for tonight. I want to create the layout for an entire composition and do it like quickly with scribbling, just scribble in some basic shapes and then block them in really quickly and start swapping out parts, making it more and more refined. So that is the idea. I created a new workspace here which utilizes two gradients. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. I have a scribble layer that I'm calling hardscape. Hardscape as in the landscape, but like the actual form of the level or the space. So like where the ground truly is. And then I had a layer which allows me to draw in colors that look like wood, even though they're not in color. They're actually black and white. It's like that. So the whole time I'm really drawing in one uniform grayscale, but it lets me take it one step closer to the final vision. And sometimes that's helpful for, creating a space, but keeping it simple and keeping it quick so I don't have to swap palettes too much, It's just basically like 10 shades of gray that I work with, and then I colorize later. Like here I have a couple examples. I was kind of playing around with these and seeing what can I do with that gray and how easy is it to colorize, and it's pretty cool. Like if I want orange, it's just like using a highlighter. It's crazy. And then if I want to make it more dynamic, there's like no end to what I could do. And it's quick too. This is like the reward. If I make a drawing and I have all my pieces figured out, laid out, this is like the fun part. But enough of that for now. I want to lay out I want to lay out this drawing. Alright, and it's a Zen garden, so it's gonna have like a mandala like symmetry. So starting in the center, that's where I'm gonna have like my big tree. Big tree in the center, and like big rocks, placed rocks. And then around the outside will be a little walkway and some stairs. And I have a little mock-up here. Let me pull it up. Something like that. So, I think it is coffee time, and I'm gonna see if I can get some headway, get some work done on this hardscape layout. Got the big, extra big coffee tonight. Okay. Alright. That's already easier to see. I do have to do some like actual layout first though. Just wanted to jump in with something that was quick and rewarding, because that's going to be the center focus of the whole composition. It's right in the center for now, but it could always change. I could always make the picture itself bigger, because my workspace is only 12 by 12 inches. And 300 DPI, that's 3600 pixels. It's not super big, but it's kind of taxing for my old computer. So I've limited myself for now to 3600 by 3600. And what I can do is create these compositions sectionally, modularly, just like the parts within them, and then I can place them all together, rearrange them however I want to, and create bigger poster-sized pictures. Or, you know, an endless drawing, just keeps going and going, like a world map in a video game. That is the idea. So let's think big picture. We gotta make a walkway. Let's think, if we had, the path is kind of narrow, it's only 2 voxels wide. There's like going to be pebbles on the side, and then a stone retaining wall. And I want it to be like a ruins, so I gotta figure out, I imagine the base of the pillar will be 2 by 2 voxels. How tall will they be? If we make them kind of small for the sake of this image space, we can make them 8 feet tall. That would be 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or we can just go with 10. Maybe I need to miniaturize it, or maybe I don't. It just kind of runs off the grid a little bit there. That's okay. I do need to expand my grid to go all the way to the outside. There's no real need, now that I'm not printing on paper, I really don't need to have margins. I might as well make a rough pillar right now. Let's put this on a block. It'll be the base of the round part of the pillar, but it'll be up on a pedestal. They ever flute columns like, or not flute, but make stone columns that have that bowling pin shape, like what do you call it, like a balustrade? I don't know, you can try. If it looks weird, I can erase it and draw something different. Because there could be, like, something kind of like Corinthian here. Guess I could figure that out as I go. And let me put some straight lines as guides too, in case that shape starts to irk me. It would be a good diameter, maybe right down through the guides. Okay. Figure out the spacing here. If we wanted to have even or odd amount, who knows? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what would that be? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then 10's a problem, right? Let's find out before we move things around. One, 2, 3. weird spacing going on. What would happen if I put them... if I move them in? And they're kind of claustrophobic, but... ooh, they fit. That's tough. I wish I had solved this problem earlier. Yeah, that would mean the pillars are sitting right in the walking trail. I'm not gonna like that, so... what can I do? Let's say I go 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I have an odd situation going on again. I could also not care and just go ahead, put one there, put one here. Let me work from the outsides in. I guess that's my best bet right now. I kind of don't like that, but I didn't plan far enough ahead. Is that gonna be all right, or is that gonna bother me? Let's see. What are my options? If I move them out, it would make the foundation more interesting. Let's take a look at that. If I put them out over the edge, oh, it's perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that's what I'm doing then. I'll lose a little bit off the top of one of these pillars, but that's okay. All this work is just a symbol of the work. I have the opportunity to remake and perfect everything over and over again, forever and ever. I always spend a little time cleaning up my files anyways after I log off. Clean this up before I copy it too many more times. Those drips. I gotta find those drips and edit them out. They're way too drippy. Alright. Where are we at here? Let's try that. Oh, I got a little more. Ooh, you know what? I could choose to have the pillars go around a curve. But I guess it's kind of unusual. We'll just put it out over the edge. Oops. these into place, and then I can start modifying them. The fun part. Or I can hold off, figure out more of this composition. I gotta do what I say I'm gonna do. I get so excited to jump in and start drawing more details, but I have to. Plan the whole thing out first. Those look pretty good. Gonna collapse them all together. Alright, let me scribble a little bit more detail for this walkway. Those splashes, man, they kill me. I don't know how they come up so often. It's like, I knew there was one or two. I never thought it would be like every couple of minutes. 'Cause the storms and the rain are nice, but that splash, man. Okay, goes a little too dark. Just want to differentiate what's going to be what so that it's easy to look at and you know. Alright, so let's think. Obviously, we gotta have a path going away from here. It's not as much space as I wanted to work on, but I have a lot of CPU limitations. It's a 13-year-old computer, so I have to be gentle with it. I have so much relaxing Zen music, and all I'm getting is the... Okay, here we go. The nice part about these is that they'll get to be overgrown. I'm not sure with what type of vegetation yet. Maybe something that looks like kudzu. If you're familiar with kudzu. Kind of envelops and swallows everything. I like already that this is creating like this diamond fractured, triangle fractured, like toothy zigzags, like competing triangle waves, or like a faceted crystal. Of course, a lot of these I'll, detail and then recopy and paste them But this is just so quick and easy, it's okay to do some work redundantly. Just want to get an idea for what I'm going to be working on here. Yep. Okay. I do have to go back to the garage. Oh, I can go back to my vault. Let's see. Wrong mouse, wrong keyboard. Always grabbing the wrong. Back in the garage. Gonna grab these stairs. Where is it? There, found it. There it is. Beautiful green staircase. Only temporarily green. Merge the stairs together. Okay. Do I have my fortress assets? Let me look. I don't think I did on this computer. I should have gotten those. Is it worth the amount of time to grab them? Probably. Let me see if I can. If I can go find something really quick, I might be able to make some progress a lot faster. It's going to take a minute here. And I can never remember where stuff is. Searching. Okay, found it. But I have to download it, right? Hold on a second here. That'll take a minute. In the meantime, I will continue the mission to create this little Zen garden, ancient ruin. Can I get rid of half of these pillars? No, I can't. It just feels like a lot of pillars. But maybe if I start like breaking some of them down, it won't feel like so many. Let's try some. You know what else we can make is a earthen lump. It's going to be some sort of lump and stone sculptures in here. I gotta make sense of the amount of space I have. I think, what can I do? What if the crown of the tree emanates from there? I'll go back to my hardscape. The crown of the tree is here. Let's do its base. But that's still aligned with center. It's just part of a lump. So in a straight line. Okay, so up 2. So those are kind of like the straight lines from the bottom of the lump to the apex where there's going to be a tree. But now I want to add a curvature. But I also want asymmetry, so it goes a little something like that. And over here we'll have a big counterbalancing rock all on its own. It will have, it can have a pedestal. You put it up on a pedestal. Maybe. What kind of rock? A counter curvy bean shaped rock. There we go. And out of the top here, we're going to come up with, what do we want to see the tree do? I want it to come up. There we go, counter. have some strong roots. Needs to have some little, either a dead branch coming out of this side of it. Yeah. That one will be like extra detailed. And then I need to come up with a plan for all of its foliage. Alright, I got an idea. I could make ellipses that will end up being kind of like modular distributions of the greenery, like fractals. Does the wind ever blow toward the lake, or does it tend to blow from the lake? I guess it doesn't really matter in this imaginary world. Just whatever I want it to do, I guess that's what it does. It's gotta have some greenery down here. Maybe a couple of these branches are still alive. Just a little bit though, barely clinging to life. I think I can make this more interesting. Come up. Yeah, let's do that. I'll get this figured out way less ambiguous. It'll be a lot more defined in a little while here. I can still choose to do something with that too. And we can have more roots reaching away. It helps to actually be doing the real drawing with the real colors and not just the guide. So maybe that means I've hit kind of the limit of the level of detail that I want to put in on a layer like this. So what I'll do, switch to landscape, kind of vaguely shade this in. Let's delete that little sample I made. Because I'm going to use the wood layer for the tree. That makes sense? Keep it separate from everything else. And maybe I can try and clean up some of this madness. You know what? I'll go right ahead and turn on my danger lights, my warning lights. Gonna be okay. That's right, I'm in a different color set now. So what I'll do anyway is I'll just fill them in. Where's all my soothing music? Some of this is good for my alleyways, barbed wire, war scenery. But this is supposed to be a relaxing episode in the Zen garden. it's coming together slowly. Maybe I could work without the without that guide for a little bit, just to reclaim some of these natural feelings, the arcs and things that I like to work with. Figure out the right brush to work with. I will stay with this big brush for a little bit. Twist. I think I'll just curl it. Let's think, how do I want to approach these connecting to the tree? Because I like sometimes making them follow the grid. pushing the computer to its limit. I can tell. It's getting really hot, and it sometimes lags. Takes a minute to draw. So, a long distance. Maybe I need to include another. All right. Like I've said before, there comes a moment where you become really afraid that your drawing is no longer in your control. But I think I pulled it back from the brink again. Just takes a while at first sometimes to get an idea out, especially something that you've never done in a new style or a new style or a new technique or technology you've never worked with before. Like I just made this green and brown canvas was it last night or today? Haven't really had a chance to practice on it. This is it. I made the green the way that it is because, oh, I got bad connection, hold on. I'll tell you in a minute. made the green so pronounced because if you look closely at my stairs, of course, as I'm showing you, I've got bad connection speed. There. The green helps to accentuate the differences in the grays, because in this view they don't look as obvious maybe, but here the difference is amplified, so it means that I'll make a better base drawing, and when I come back to it later to colorize it, it will take color better. I want this tree to be a little bit skimpy, you know, really aged, weathered. Why is, hello? It's not working. Hold on. I guess the drawing is unstable. Hold on here. It's not working. Got my brush selected. I'm on the correct layer. But I can't draw. It's not showing up at all. Oh, okay, that's why. Drawing on a folder. Oh my god. Okay. You gotta start thinking like a tree. What does a tree look like? What does its bark do? Of course I said I was going to lay out the entire drawing before I got lost in details, but Boy, there's a pretty big delay on that between drawing and seeing a result. I guess it kind of maxes out my CPU to have two gradients going at once. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's so demanding. Always looking for ways of optimizing my system. I'm not sure what would cause such a delay though. I think the drawing is no longer unstable. And it's almost past coffee time. Let's leave the tree alone for a little while and go back to, well, you know what, I'll put one more detail here. How is my boulder going to sit? I want a little kidney bean boulder. Where'd it go? There. Total madness. space shape of some sort of, I don't know what that is, a bean-shaped rock. It looks comfy to sit on. I might as well mark my my walls here. Oh no. Okay, I'll be careful. That layer has the grass, so I'll do the space for now. I'll have to get underneath there and shoot. I thought I was safe there. I thought it was on a different... It is. It's below. Okay. I'll leave a little gap for now. Forgot one. Did I forget one color over here? I did. Oh, I didn't. There it is. How are we doing for an hour and 24 minutes into this drawing? It doesn't look like a lot, but at least it's taking shape. You can see what's coming next, and that was the whole idea. Maybe I should figure out a little bit of the grounds or how the forest is going to be in the background. I know I want to have like the blue water cove up here, the sacred cove, and over here some sort of evergreen forest. And down here, not sure, just kind of like nice mowed lawn. We'll see. I got something prepared for creating a walkway. It's going to help me tessellate my stones because I want them to pattern well, but I don't want them to like kind of look unique over the seams, not like the opposite of like a sidewalk with its cracks. It's kind of sloppy, so I might just take it down and make a new one. Oh, struggling. Don't do this to me. My Dockers got combined and I don't want them combined. That is the worst. I don't know how to separate them. They're not coming apart. Oh, gotta look it up on the internet real quick. Still confused. Dockers are not separating. I can't believe it's doing this to me right now. Why? How do I separate my Dockers? Tiniest little problems can become the biggest problems. I've got to have my palette and my layers separate, and I cannot seem to find a way to get them apart. Like nothing is doing anything. Oh, this is killing me. This is killing me. I can't make it change. Guess I'll just have a broken layer and palette. Oh, could it be any harder? My palette's gone now. Can't handle it. Please, palette. Come out of there. Oh, it's getting worse. Everything's getting worse. Alright, I probably get one chance at this. Don't mess it up. Oh, careful. Oh, I fixed it. My God, what a disaster. Good, try this again. Please. Tessellato. Did I forget a letter? The tessellator. The tessellato. Alright. Okay, that is a little helpful. Let me get... One of these needs to change. This one. So what I am doing is trying to make a pattern which will tessellate. Kind of sit on top of itself comfortably. Let's see how that looks just by itself before putting any more effort or detail into it. Let's copy paste it a couple of times and see if it appears to tessellate nicely. Start it down here. You know what I should do though is put a registration mark. Hold on. Oops. And put a tinier than that. Peaceful. Computer, give me peaceful music. Let's get it lined up. This one is meant to go under it. There. Is it tessellating well? Not exactly. It's bumping into this rock. So what I'm going to do is change this rock. You know what? Gotta fix my brush. Bring these down, as in less rock. I'd like to get this right the first time because something like a walkway, it's going to capture a lot of attention. You're going to be staring at it, closely. It's the path. So I want it to look good. What are you? I guess I'll merge you in. Merge those two together. Okay. Still safe. Gets tricky with the layers sometimes. You gotta really watch what layer you're working on. Can't have too many layers because then the computer gets too slow. But if you're careful, you can pull it off. Oops. I do not like that rotate being so eager to rotate. Already, that's better. Let's get another one. I think that's pretty decent, so I'm gonna go with that. Yes, let me save this one original. Put it in the vault somewhere. There's good enough. Now I have a safe copy of it, and I can play with all these. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I can merge those. Okay. And they go under, oh, they can't go under there. I have a few things kind of messed up right now, but that's alright, because this drawing is going to take a while. But you can see where I'm going. What now? I guess I could work on the walkway, or maybe indicate where trees will go in the background. Got the walkways. Let's just imagine the size of a tree in the background, some shrubbery of some kind. I will want the trees to have maybe a base, maybe small ones and big ones. So the small ones, I guess if I really wanted it to be varied, I could do a line of trees that is 2 by 2 and other ones that are 3 by 3. 1, 2, how tall do I want them to be? $16, 32, 48, 64. One, two, three, four. wanted to have bigger trees. I think maybe three different tree sizes is enough variation for this. I'm actually going to separate. Reposition these. Where can I put them? Up here for a minute. I have to grab this other tree. This rectangle, this diamond is a tree. It will be. Put it down out of the way so it can be tall. Put it right here. Now, I can move these ones again. Don't want the trees to bump into each other at this stage because I gotta draw them. Those two are gonna hit. That's alright. I'll just deal with it. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Super tall. What will their structure be like? Let's imagine we'll start with an ellipse. And we'll start this process on all of them. One voxel up is kind of like where their understory begins. Cartoon pine tree. Gonna be like a goofy Christmas ornament. I just want to partition it into sections. When I draw trees this way, it makes me think of King Louis of Versailles in his gardens. With topiaries that are over manicured. There's Here's the basic shape, but I wonder... No, don't do it again. Just trying to change the size of my windows and they keep trying to move around on me. How does this one look? I want to think about how is the best way to do this, because an evergreen is pretty opaque. It doesn't have very many spots that you can see through it, unless it's like a... That's not true at all. Certain types of evergreens are really dense, you know, like a Christmas tree. And so in that case, I'm never going to see this. I'm never going to see through there. If you wonder if I just start like this. Just get a really nice dark core so that when I put the details of the other layers, they'll look more vibrant and rich. That's a good question. Is there a part, is there a point where the tree begins to lift more upwards? This tree is all downwards. But does it ever uplift? Maybe this one doesn't. Maybe this one does. This tree is a little bit more rambunctious. It's reaching outside of its bounding more aggressively than the other ones. If I want to be able to truly figure this out and relax, I gotta think and talk more like Bob Ross. Like Bob Ross talks about the trees. Happy little trees. Not entirely sure how this brush works. It has some strange properties to it. But it does give, it's good for plants. Alright, I'm starting to get this brush a little bit better. If I make really light, long strokes, it acts like a ink brush. And it's not exactly what a pine tree looks like in its textures, but it's a really good start because now I can go back in and more intentionally put structure and like what could I do with this brush? If I make little kind of like it captures the essence of natural forms, but I'm gonna have to come in later with a different approach and attempt to make it look more like pine needles and branches. I know you can do a lot with just suggestion, but sometimes I just like things to look super detailed. Kind of looks like fur. It also kind of looks like a pine tree. A dead pine tree right now. Dead brown pine tree. But when I colorize it, it will be a beautiful, lush, blue-green pine. A happy tree. So look, that's nice. Go like that. I think that's pretty good for not looking at a tree. Like just drawing a tree out of my head. It's a decent tree. Just thinking about all the trees I've seen. I've seen quite a few. Alright, get a little more detail over here. This brush almost works better if you use it really gently. Like if you glide it on the surface of the glass, then it makes a beautiful mark for you. But if you're like, come on, you try and like grind it in, it doesn't do as well. I am really curious to find out how all of these things react in comparison to realistic art materials, or actual art materials. I'd say these are realistic art materials, but they're not actual. You know what I mean. I got a pretty big delay. Go back and add detail to the shadows. I do like these brushes. This is pretty cool. I would not have guessed that the result would be so realistic in terms of mimicking real art materials. Very surprising. It's so nice having the stylus just slide on the glass. It's like drawing with light. That's pretty cool, actually. That's a nice little tree. A couple of nice little trees. Two different species. Clearly two different species of tree. Oh, this one's been neglected. I should probably show it a little bit more love. The brush is very weird. Like sometimes it's like it doesn't want to draw. Looks almost like a pine cone. Oh wow, I've exceeded 2 hours already on my stream. I'm wondering why my chair was becoming so uncomfortable. This looks more like a little thuja plant. I gotta make more jazzy, easy listening music. I like it. Oh, this will be a happy little tree too. I knew if I just stuck with it, I'd find a solution to my tree quandaries. How was I going to do this? How was I going to pull it off? Because I've painted plenty of pine trees in my life. I've spent an exorbitant amount of time detailing their little, I don't know what you call them, their little fronds or bracts, I'm not sure what you call them. But to just be able to hint at it like this and it just kind of magically appears. Very cool. Oh man, that's a little unfortunate. I have, this guide is on the same level, the same layer as my drawing. So I gotta do some repair. I thought it was on a separate layer. See, this is what I'm talking about. You gotta be careful. Because now I'll lose all my beautiful little, you know what I can do? I can erase right back into it. Like that. Try and make negative brush strokes into the shape of the tree. I'll probably end up having to just go back in and detail a little bit more. It's unfortunate. But it's a good thing to find out now. Not when it's all like perfect and I'm like, alright, erase that, remove that layer. And then you discover you drew right on the guide. Well, I don't have to clean these up right now, so maybe I'll just be conscious of it. There, see if I erase like that, I can kind of blend it in. See, that's pretty good. Do a few more details on that little tree, on both these trees, and then I want to move on a little bit. Does that texture help? Get a little bit of random vertical lines. They're not as good as consciously placed lines. I don't know. Alright, maybe we can move on from these trees for a little while. They look great. They actually look a lot better than I thought they'd come out. We had to fix up their edges a little bit. They got a little damaged by my erasing. All right. I said we'd move on from the trees. We will move on. I just always want to keep working. So sometimes it's good to get as much done while you're in the flow state as possible. Which means I should do just a little more. Because I'm kind of synced with this drawing right now. My mind is like tuned into what this thing needs and what technique I'm using to achieve the appearance. So now is the best time to get work done. Not to set it off for later, because you come back and you forget how you're doing it. You're not warmed up anymore. So sometimes one part of your mind is screaming at you to please move on, please. The other half of your mind is saying, no, there's more work to be done. Okay, well, let's leave it at that. When I add roots to them, I'll put it on the layer below and merge them together. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it just like that. I want to get there's something down here I need to resolve. This needs to go on top. It's like I need a whole nother layer if I'm going to do that. So that's what I'll do. I'll go back to my landscape. That's better. What should I work on at this moment? Should I make the path go all the way around? Or should I maybe scribble one of these pillars? I think I should do that. Bring back the ugly layer. And then I wonder, of course, what layer is the safest to work on. Let's see. The one that's neither on top of something else. I guess it's that one. I'll start on that one. Do I like this bowling pin appearance, or is it too unusual? 'Cause in my mind, when I thought of this, I imagined much more like a romantic look, like a fall of the Roman Empire kind of ruins. And these aren't characteristic of that, so maybe I'll scribble it once just to see it, and then revert back to a more standard form. Let's just take a look. I think I would rather, well, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe I'll leave it. I'll draw the other one more cylindrical and see how it makes me feel. Bring back my ugly rose, pink, and orange layer. I was trying to make something that was like high vis and that I would know for sure was not part of my drawing layer. Let's try a more Roman column. also help if I draw my columns with square caps. Fair enough. Find out. What are the pillars again? There's Doric, Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian. And then you can have flutes. Oh, that's a pretty easy choice. I think I like the fluted Romanesque colors. Wish I had more coffee. Always wish I had more coffee. Okay. I think I definitely want to go with the fluted Roman column. Maybe one of them has like a square cap still. Maybe I should put a little bit of detail. Or like just resolve it a little bit more. Of course, I want to maybe do a little bit of research on pillars so that I get the nicest rendition for myself. I'll have to look up some like Tartarian era photos or like old paintings of the Roman ruins, the really magical ones. I've seen some of the paintings of Roman ruins, they almost look like sci-fi. They're so advanced looking. Like it would make sense if it were a spaceport at some point in history. The greatest architecture. The greatest architecture would be reserved for the highest pursuits. At least it used to be. have to figure out exactly what I'm gonna do to decorate these. Infinite possibilities, as always. Yep, I definitely prefer the, I've said it enough times. I prefer that one. What should I do with the old one? Should I just obliviate it? I guess I'll save it and use it for something else. I'll just put it somewhere in here. It's an ugly little relic, but I'll put it there and keep it safe. I can't wait to color. Once I get one of these drawings completed, I can go in and color. That's going to be a ton of fun. But you gotta have something to color first. So that's where I'm at. Maybe I should try again to do what I said I was going to do and figure out what's going to go in this drawing. Or work on that tree in the middle some more. Now that I've got the column sort of figured out, I'm going to go ahead and just add tops to these. Because I like that it's kind of like a castle, fortress, like a bastion. That looks kind of cool even without pillars, so maybe some of them will be completely missing. Knocked down, broken in half, carried away, repurposed. Really cool. I'm pretty happy with the layout. Oh, you know what I can do? That front corner. starting to look like my little sticky note there. What else did I draw there? Pine trees. My feature tree was a little bigger. Although I could still add more. Do I need to? I kind of want something right here. Yeah, I think it needs some kind of large maybe like that. I think that's got better balance to it. Yeah, I want to figure out the pillar details and the way the pillar is made a lot more clearly. I want to have it really figured out before I copy it that many times, or before I start like breaking it into pieces. I'm happy with the progress. I thought I'd have more of it like fleshed out. Maybe I can do that now. I want to define the landscape a little bit better. Maybe I'll bury this side into the foliage. What do you call it? Plant life of some kind. I'll have a lot of overgrowth here too. You know what? I can draw some of that right now. Using my obnoxious mint color, I can signify some sort of plant life there. I'm gonna have plants that come through here, but I gotta be careful trying to figure out how to find the balance between plant life and overgrowth, and also showing off the ruins, because both of them are beautiful. Maybe I have some like plant life sticking around the corner there. It comes out here. Zoom in and think about it. Maybe there's plants that come around the corner here. It's starting to remind me of one of my previous projects, where everything kind of had like a fig leaf feel to it. Maybe I'll do that again. I am doing it again. I don't want to get too much off in like trying to figure out the exact shape of things, but it just helps me brainstorm. Maybe this foliage is darker. Lets me see down into this area. Let me think, how do I encapsulate this plant's structure? Something like that. Give me peaceful, computer. Peaceful. Yes, this is much more peaceful. Thank you. Soon you'll have to thank your computer. Won't want to hurt its feelings or violate its rights. Thank you, computer. Thing is, you just don't want to piss your computer off, because soon they'll be far more powerful than you. In the physical world. Please don't hurt me, computer. I'm sorry for rendering my videos so many times. Sorry for all the renders and the downloads. Alright, let's take this awful layer off and see what we've made. Oh no, my plants are on that layer. Can't see them unless I bring it up. I have to come up with something useful to do other than burp into the microphone. parts have to be worn down. It can't look like the rest of it. Tomorrow I'll figure out like an egress from here. Maybe I'll make like a archway. Maybe I'll draw that in to remind myself. That's why I wondered, is it possible to remove one pillar? But unfortunately there's 6. If there was 7 I could take out the center one. But when there's 6 it's kind of weird. Unsure what to do about that, because I do want it to have a natural what would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe there won't be any sort of natural path through there. What I want to do is have it be like a welcoming path to go out the backside here and out to where all the boulders and the water is. In fact, maybe I'll draw some of that right now. Give a hint of what might be coming in this area, in the Sacred Cove. I will use a new color. How about a nice blue? My neck hurts so bad. I probably stare down at this too much. I need to create some boulders. Trying to imagine the scale. Some of them, I want them to be quite large. Like that. Qualifying and quantifying rocks and their shapes and what is characteristic about a rock of a given place that makes it look and feel the way that it does. That's sometimes a challenge. How do you make a rock look like a rock of a certain place? There's so many subtle things that define it. I want them to feel really smooth and comfortable and inviting. Actually, kind of like that boulder that I have placed up by the tree. Maybe that's where it came from. The Sacred Cove. Secret Cove. Secret, sacred, same thing. The inner sanctum, the innermost sacred, secret place. What is your most sacred, secret place? Your mind? That's why the enemy wants access to your mind. I'll make a few more boulders to indicate one really big one here. Four by four. That's a good start. And too tall. I have to remind myself not to whistle because, not because some people don't like it, but because it doesn't line up. The delay between the processing and the encoding, it doesn't line up. So no matter what, it doesn't sound like I know what I'm doing. These are some nice rocks. Maybe this one has shape more like that. Not only because it's running off the page, but because some rocks are pointy. It can still feel like one family of rocks, but it's always a good idea to cluster your creations together into a natural little bundle. They start informing each other because you think, well, how did this rock end up here? And then you have to start imagining stories of why an imaginary rock is located where it is and why it's worn down the way that it is. I guess that's the answer to how do you make rocks appear to be like a family of rocks. Suggest their contour on top. The secret cove, the sacred cove. Maybe it has, we'll use a deep blue to represent its waters. I want to have a really nice elliptical pool right here. I want to define it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not that the water will actually be like in a perfect circle there, but what I like to do is define the positive and negative spaces so that when it comes time to connect them into like a flowing force water, they already have a connectivity and actually it helps create little pockets and flows between them. The way water, carves away at things and creates ebbs and flows. Because now you see I can take these and is that called a spline? Where you take two curves and you bring them together. Whatever it is, I creates really happy, natural curves. Yeah, and actually, since I decided against these pillars being shaped like bowling pins, I probably should have erased them already, but I did not. Oh well. It's okay. It's the sloppy layer. It gets to be crazy. It gets to be crazy and colored with horrible colors. It helps me to see. Helps me to see what I'm doing. Probably counterintuitive because it looks crazy, but it actually helps. Although I could probably get rid of the tree guide. It's like it already exists, so. I'll get rid of some of that right now. There's a short time that it's helpful, and then like that, I haven't finished, so I'll leave that part. Yeah, I should redraw that, but I'll leave it for now because it's a helpful little concept. I'll describe it really quickly. So the way I use this to help me tessellate, I should have talked about this earlier when I was drawing the walkway. But basically, here's how it works. You have eraser. You have the tile that you're looking to tile. You know, the pattern or the size of the object that you're trying to tile. And you want it to merge seamlessly with things around it. So I put ellipses on each side because this is kind of like if it were a puzzle piece or something, that's where it conjoins with the next piece. And I decided that as it layers into and recedes into the distance, I want the piece in front to have the dominant object. So I put a plus there. I want the one in the back to have the dominant object because as it layers, it's going to stack. If you can see my hands like this. One on top has the dominant piece, and this one is supportive. So I have minuses there. So I put smaller elements there and bigger elements in the back. And then when I put them together, they blend better. Nothing's ever perfect, but I can go back and keep modifying it, tweaking it, getting it closer to how I need it to be. But for the time being, I think it's good. I have a lot of cleanup work to do after the show, and the next time I come on, I'll have a lot more of this resolved, because there's tedious things I like to get done when no one's looking, and prepare my canvas for the next bout of drawing. So what did we get done today? I didn't realize I'd passed 3 hours. Let's take a look. Oops, I left this up. Left this up the whole time, but might as well leave it. We got the basic layout. You know what, I'll put this horrible thing back up. We got the basic layout of the scene. Like I said, it might not be the whole scene. It's just 12 inches by 12 inches, so it could be a lot bigger. But this is the core of the ancient ruins. We'll have a cove up in the top corner here. Probably can't see my brush, it's too small. Pine forest back over here. There, now it's bigger. Pine forest back here. Sacred cove, blue waters, beautiful stones. We'll find some way of making it really atmospheric and delightful. And got our ancient ruins with pillars, giant tree in the middle of our little Zen garden. Well, not giant, but a twisted old sacred tree. Got our stairs, a couple of lumps of earth, all of it needing a lot of refinement and a lot more work. But I feel like there's a lot more drawing here than there was when I started, so it is a good start. And these trees came out really nice. The pines. I'll take a closer look. You know, given it being kind of like a speed painting of pines, I think that's a really nice start. And they're not even colored yet, so we'll see what happens when they're made blue-green instead of gold. The foliage is going to be a challenge. I had to come up with like a symbolic system for how I generate the foliage, but it'll be cool, especially if I can create it fractally. So I have, like, let's say there's 7 different sizes of pods, clusters of leaves, 7 different sizes, and then they can just be detailed really nicely once and then copied in numerous times. And then I go in and I draw all the connective branches separately, and that'll complete the illusion of the tree. I don't know why that's the sculpture I chose, that stone, but I do want to sit on it. It's kind of like a saddle. And yeah, the pillar's nice. Needs more refinement. I also got to figure out exactly what style of pillar it is. Imagining maybe a little bit of Corinthian cap detail on there. Maybe some of them will have their rectangular top still. The rest maybe broken off. Maybe some will be laying down in the brush. I guess time will tell. But for now, I think I'm gonna take a break, eat some food. Go to bed soon. What else? I think that's it for now. So if you stayed with me, I doubt it, I'm usually alone, but if anyone's here, if anyone's watching, hope it was enjoyable. Hope you learned something. Maybe it inspired you to create something of your own. I look forward to doing this again. I think it's fun, to get work done, force things to come into existence. It is fun. So I'll be back either tomorrow or the next day. Thank you for watching.